Really, really important to always pay attention to culture. So if you have a culture, I don't care what your culture is. I don't care if you micromanage. I don't care if you require nights and weekends. I don't care if you're totally hands off. They can work whenever they want. You have meetings once a week or once a month or whatever. It doesn't matter how you operate, how you work. Be incredibly clear about it. Be very clear and very upfront, because if you personally like to have 15-minute stand-ups every day, or say you only like to have, like, if you like to have 15-minute stand-ups every day and you hire somebody who doesn't like to be on calls, who only wants to do things through Loom, who only wants to meet once a week, they're not going to be a culture fit for you in the long run. It's going to be incredibly hard to work together. And the same thing is the opposite. If you prefer to do things via Loom, you prefer to meet once a week, once a month, and this person needs a touch point every day, they're messaging you all the time, they're asking for calls, you're going to be super frustrated. Pay attention to those little details.
Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to Season 4 of Legacy's Journey, where we talk about creating what outlives you. I'm your host, Cameron Williams, owner of Kinley Consulting, where we focus on strategic financial growth for marketing agencies so that they can live the dream life they deserve and not be a slave to their business. And we do that through CFO services, accounting, and consulting. Now, this is Season 4, where we are focusing on companies who either bought, sold, scaling, or excelling. And I've been in these streets. I've been, getting out there more, trying to meet new people, get in different circles. And we were in Coronado back in, I think it was October, and I'm in line, and there was this other person in line. So I'm like, oh, I gotta be we're in networking mode, so let me be extra. So I'm like, hey, how you doing? And you start this conversation, and come to find out, this person literally helps marketing agencies grow. So I'm not going to spoil it. We were literally about to get into it, and I was like, wait, time out. Let me hit the button. Michele Lambert's here. I don't know if you know her, but you're about to. So tell the people, name of the business, who you are, and what you do to help serve others.
Absolutely. So I am Michelle. I own Bella Connections, and we help place marketing and operations talent. So we're here to really connect businesses with top talent to be able to scale.
Okay, now let's jump into it. So I think we all know that as marketing agencies, right? Can we go US? Yes. Are we pro US hires? Yes, of course. But sometimes, or especially when we're getting started, it may be cheaper to outsource that role versus having them be internal. And a lot of times you'll hear go overseas. So because you help a lot with these placements, kind of, let's start with just in basics. Is there a real difference between a US hire and the qualification? If the same things are like the same qualifications, years, etc., is there a true difference in a US hire versus an overseas hire?
Absolutely. So it makes, now I want to preface this by saying it very much depends on your business. It depends on what you're hiring for and the position. So we do recommend utilizing, US, or I'm sorry, utilizing overseas. There's a lot of great talent in South America, South Africa, Middle East. There's a lot of great talent that are more affordable, which is often what people are looking for when they're going overseas, to support your leadership. What we focus on is primarily placing leadership, and we're looking primarily at North America and Europe. So, and the difference, I would say, in putting a leadership like a marketing director or marketing manager, CMO kind of person in place within like North America or Europe, is often going to be the culture in terms of understanding of your market, your audience. What are the triggers? What is going on in that area of the world right now, in your area of the world that your audience is experiencing, that they're going to be able to pick up little triggers, little touch points, little hook, and be able to really dial in the strategy, the hooks, the angles that you're taking that are going to expand for your business to be able to bring in the right customers, and also for your clients' business. As marketing agencies, we see this a lot with a lot of the agencies we work with, is they notice that people in specific regions are going to understand that culture and how to sell to that culture a little bit differently. Now that's not to say there's not amazing people around the world. Honestly, we work with a lot of support, creative and support talent around the world. But when we are placing higher, like high level leadership roles, we primarily are looking in North America and Europe. And there's a lot of really, good options in Central America too. Just like to, really consider who the audience is and how well they know and relate to that audience too when you're looking at them.
Okay, so culture does matter if we want them to truly be a thought leader. And maybe we need to go back to that because some people may say, well, Michelle, I don't need a marketing director. Like, I don't need a leadership level. I should just be able to get a VA and they should be able to just take it over, right? To them, you're going to say,
Sure. Go ahead and do it. Let me know how it rolls in 6 months. No, I'm teasing. There honestly it depends on where you are in your business. That is absolutely what some people need. They just need support right now. Like if you're doing multiple six figures, maybe you're just about to hit seven figures or you're just hitting seven figures, and you really just need somebody to take some of these marketing tasks off of your hands. Absolutely, like look into options that are going to be more affordable, and be able to support you. But keep in mind, you're still leading the strategy, you're still ensuring execution, you're still overseeing the quality control. If you're looking for a marketing director, if you're doing, multiple seven figures and eight figures, you absolutely need a marketing leader to actually be setting the strategy to ensure that the execution is done and it's done in a way that you are proud of, and that the messaging's there, that all of these aspects that typically founders are currently doing themselves are taken care of by somebody else, and you no longer are the one QAing and touching all those points and making sure everything goes through. Because that's where the most frustration comes, is like, yeah, you can tell somebody like, I want this, that, and the other done, and it'll get done to a point, or maybe they'll just be a ton of direction that's involved, and you're just going to have to be really hands-on with it. So it depends at what level you're looking for and at what level your business is. I still very much think that there's also a lot of, opportunity to work with VAs and people overseas for your even marketing leadership. They need to be able to implement and execute at the level that you're looking for.
okay, so we got that. So now, okay, I like how you said there's a leadership position, which is what you feel, and then that is supplemented by the CSMs, the account manager, account reps. Go back into, because you kind of hinted at this. Hey, if you're at 600K, you need this, versus if you're basically right at the seven figure or above, you need. Can you kind of give us the why? Because I think people a lot of times just make those generic under six figures, bam. Over seven figures, bam. Kind of give us a little bit of breakdown based on your experience and what you've seen as to how one really helps the other.
Absolutely. So especially like in the six figure area, like you're still able to be leading a lot of the strategy. You need people to just do the things. You need doers and you need executors. And that's where a lot of that comes in. Those people can maybe someday increase their position into a leadership role. Maybe they get somebody else to come in and help them as the leader and set that strategy so that you're no longer setting it. When you get into like the seven figure mark, you are doing a lot more volume. You have to have different kinds. You need to up level your strategies. You need to up level your big picture thinking. You need to you need to add new channels. There's a million things you're doing. You're adding new products, you're adding new channels, you're adding new audiences. This is a big one that's been coming out lately, especially with AI. You're able to set up so many different, like multiple opt-in or lead gen pages per audience. And you need to have it dialed into the entire funnel, dialed into what that, like speaking to just that audience. So, you're making multiple funnels a day. You're running multiple split tests, multiple ads. The higher volume you're doing, the more support you need, both in the strategy as well as the ensuring that strategy is seen through in the execution level. And so that's why when you're really starting to head to seven figures, it typically means you are going to be running higher volume, especially for agencies. You're running higher volume of testing, and you're running higher volume ad sets. You're running higher volume of clients. You need somebody who has the ability and bandwidth to focus on that strategy and that big picture and ensure that the execution is done and seen through with your doers and with your team. Then when you're looking at, especially when you're looking at multiple 7 and 8 figures, that's when you're adding even more, acquisition channels. You're adding more testing. I hear some clients are running, 50 plus tests at a time on ads. Like, that's a lot to be managing it at once. You need somebody to be able to lead that. So does that kind of answer like the different, where you are in your business for it? It's kind of depends a lot on the demand. But when we're in the multiple six figures, like sometimes, if you're really close to that 7 figure, like actual marketing leader or director or manager is going to be able to alleviate enough of the lift for you to be able to scale faster, add more clients, get better conversions, all that good stuff that we are looking for to be able to support clients taken care of. So it might be a little bit more of a stretch on the budget, but it frees up. What it opens up is the ability to do more and bring in more revenue. So yes, it adds more to the bottom line budget. Yes, it also supports your actual growth so you can increase your revenue in the big picture.
Right, and it makes perfect sense because that's what we want. It should be where the bigger the investment, the more ROI we should get. So yes, this is not going to be a $1,500 a month position like a CSM or account manager or something like that. This is probably a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grand per month position. But in theory, this marketing director or CMO or that upper level marketing person should be helping you to get more clients in, giving you ideas instead of it all having to come from you. Open your eyes. Let's try these different channels, and here's the strategy, and I will run it so that you keep doing what you're doing. So that was great. Let's go here. So let's go. I don't want to say it's the opposite, but okay, let's say I just hit a million, like right in December 2025. We are now in 2026. Okay, I need to get this person. Let's go 3 to 5 things that you've seen in regards to making a mistake of me picking this role. Because, of course, I may think, oh, I need a person like this. Like, talk us through, hey, you need to be looking for these 3 to 5 characteristics for somebody that's really good versus when we see this, that's probably a red flag.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you talking specifically like marketing director leadership position?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So for that, like again, the location is actually, I mean, depending on what you're doing. So recently we were working with an ecom agency. And what they learned pretty quickly was the location and understanding and ability of somebody to communicate with their clients as well as be able to, find the right, you know, triggers and hooks and angles and all the things that they needed. They originally tried to hire somebody that was more cost effective in, I think it was South America. And they quickly realized that they need somebody who's in North America who understands the culture of the customers that they are marketing to, and who also has the ability to speak directly to their customers in a way that they are confident and speaking with executives and, has a certain level of executive appearance. Now, that's not saying that there are other people who don't have that, but that is something to be considered. Now, in addition, here's some of the things that I see that are most important in that role specifically, especially when you first hit 7 figures. There are going to be a lot of people who come to you, and now this is kind of like a it's an interesting little faux pas almost kind of way, is that a lot of people who have had a ton of CMO experience, or they've had a bunch of their own businesses and they've done all these things and they look amazing on paper, and they probably are really really good at what they do. When you are first at the 7 figures and you're hiring your first leadership executive, oftentimes they need to have a little bit of an ability to do a little bit of everything. They need to be able to touch everything. They need to be able to really understand it. Where a lot of times when you're looking at somebody who's got 20 plus years of C-suite experience, or they've, had 20, 30 years of their own businesses, they're really used to delegating. And that is a really great skill and a really important piece to have when you're in your 8 figures. But when you're in your 7 figures and you have that person coming to you, you need to remember where you are now, and does this person have the skill sets and the abilities to do the tasks that are needed right now. I'm not saying that they should be a jack of all trades and they need to have people they can delegate to for a lot of things, but they also need to be able to be hands-on with things and jump in where needed when you're at seven figures, because things break, things happen. You see an opportunity there, you can make more by making this quick adjustment. You need somebody who can jump in and do that. Another thing that I would say is really, really important to always pay attention to culture. So if you have a culture, I don't care what your culture is. I don't care if you micromanage. I don't care if you require nights and weekends. I don't care if you're totally hands off. They can work whenever they want. You have meetings once a week or once a month or whatever. It doesn't matter how you operate and how you work. Be incredibly clear about it. Be very clear and very upfront, because if you personally like to have 15-minute stand-ups every day, or say you only like to have, like, if you like to have 15-minute stand-ups every day and you hire somebody who doesn't like to be on calls, who only wants to do things through Loom, who only wants to meet once a week, they're not going to be a culture fit for you in the long run. It's going to be incredibly hard to work together. And the same thing is the opposite. If you prefer to do things via Loom, you prefer to meet once a week, once a month, and this person needs a touch point every day, they're messaging you all the time, they're asking for calls, you're going to be super frustrated. Pay attention to those little details. And that's not the only thing about culture. Culture in general, if you need to know what your values are. Are you growth focused? How does the team operate? Which all the levers that involve your team's culture and the culture that you've created. Be upfront about it, know what those are, and make sure they align on it, because you can teach skill sets and you can teach processes, you can teach systems. You cannot teach somebody your values and your culture. So making sure you're aligned on those is super important, no matter who somebody is. Don't get like starry-eyed at somebody's resume. Make sure that you're assessing for their actual fit to the company, the values, the culture, and then of course skill set is incredibly important, but it's also something that can be learned faster than values.
Yeah, that makes sense there. I mean, like you said, somebody who has experience delegating, holding you accountable. I love that what you said. I wrote it. Do they fit your internal culture? Be clear and upfront, because, like you said, if there are, hey, I'm just gonna keep sending you looms, I could see how that is very frustrating. Because did you watch it? No. Versus, like, I know even for me, like with my team, they'll send it to me, and sometimes I'm just like, look, when we get on our Monday, Wednesday, Friday calls, that's the best time, or you just need to book a time on my calendar, because it's to the point, like you said, once you're approaching the seven figures are already there, there's so many messages everywhere and emails and Slack, man. It's just better for me. If we want it done, let's get on a call. And I think that's super important to know that about yourself. Let's go here. Let's go from the other side, because I'm sure you get this all the time too. I am I'm the marketing director, and I want to go work at an awesome company. I want to be placed there. I want it to be somewhere where they want fresh ideas and all that stuff. What are some of the things that I need to do to not only make myself more marketable, because you're going to help me with that, but that I need to switch my brain from maybe going corporate, where I was only working one job one way, to where I may either be going into one company or trying to do this fractional marketing director offer and having 5 to 10. What are some of those things that I need to be aware of?
Yeah. I will say, okay, so I'm kind of a little different in this, and that I caution people about going straight from corporate or hiring straight from corporate into an agency and on internet marketing online business. It's a very different culture, it's a very different speed, and it's a very different type of person in terms of your drive, your understanding of this market, how quickly we move is a little bit different. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't mean somebody from corporate can do an amazing job in your company. I just, preface that and be aware of what it looks like coming into these online businesses where things move incredibly fast. Whereas, a lot of corporate companies, you'll see, even companies that we work with sometimes who are getting into the, many high end 8 figures or 9 figures, it takes weeks or months to get something approved. Whereas most of the time when you're in, the 6, 7, lower 8 figures, things are moving fast. So that is something that you should definitely be aware of and always watch for, both on the candidate side and on the client side. And then in terms of like somebody who is coming into this, first of all, be very aware of that. Tailor your resume and your approach to that. So especially if you're trying to do something fractionally, you need to be able to, of course, prove that a lot of times, like, you can get in with a company and do something with them full on and say like 6 months full time just with that company, 6 months, maybe a year. Really prove your concept, especially this is if you're coming from corporate. Now, if you've been doing this for a while, then you should have some kind of case studies going where 6 months, years, several years, what you've been able to accomplish with these online businesses, because it's a very different structure in how they work, and agencies specifically. So get in, start doing that. It's the same thing with anything in terms of like, you may start a little lower than you were before, but you're getting your reps in so that you can do that fractional, that high level, the roles that you're going for in the long run, in the way that you wish to work. So yeah, that's one thing I would be aware of. And then the other thing is, it's kind of the same across the board. Anytime any candidate is looking to get hired, make sure that your resume is tailored to the actual position. A lot of companies now use AI to search for keywords in resumes, and they'll just auto deny you if you don't have the right keywords, you don't have the right structure, you don't have the right setup. Be very very specific. Like, I even recommend sometimes that you have a resume that's specific to the role that you're looking for. So if you're looking for a marketing director, but you also say have affiliate manager experience or affiliate marketing experience, those should be two separate resumes, because they are hitting on two separate points. That doesn't mean you can't include information from both to each other, but you really need to highlight your skill set and your experience in the role that you are hiring for, because it's not always or only people looking at things now, it's AI. And you also have a massive amount of competition. So when I open something and I see, like, say somebody's applying for a marketing director, a creative director, but the resume says all like uh, graphic design lead, it says affiliate marketing, it says copywriter, it says all these different roles that they've had, but I don't see anywhere the specific role I'm looking for. It's a little bit hard for me to get to really translate and understand why. And it's not just me, it's the hiring manager, it's the client that we send them to. I might know that your experience is actually really high in this one area, but that doesn't mean it translates to the hiring manager and client who is going to be quickly reviewing and running through these. So tailoring your resume is incredibly important, and always keep it to 1 to 2 pages max. I've seen some that are like 4 pages, and nobody's going to read all that.
A
This
four
is
page resume?
yes. I've
What
seen
do
some weird
you
stuff
write
though.
4 pages? We don't need from high school to present, man. Jeez.
Well, and
That's
people try to add like every task they've done for that role in that resume, and instead you should be tailoring it for this specific position that you're.
Okay, that's good advice right there. I didn't even think, because I've been out the job market so long, about the AI component of the keywords and throwing that is. She just gave y'all money so y'all can get hired. See, she worth her coins. She worth her coins. Okay, I think we've kind of painted that picture really well. Let's kind of transition into more you as the business owner, because women owned business, so that is amazing there. How, I don't even know how to ask this the right way. How do you feel that gives you superpowers, right? Because I've known a couple of we would call them headhunters back in my time. What do you think kind of gives you some superpowers at Bella that maybe they don't have, that's helping you to do as great as you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is a man versus woman. This part is definitely not man versus woman. But for me personally, like, my background is actually building online businesses for over a decade now. So I have a ton of experience leading the marketing and operations of, 0 to 7 figures, leading from 7 into 8 figures, and so on and so forth. So my background is building, actually doing the things. So it's a lot easier for me to spot it. And then we also, just attract a lot of those people just being in that community and network. So that's kind of where my juice comes from, my secret sauce. We're very luckily known for people coming to us looking for positions specific to internet marketing, direct response, D2C, e-commerce, agencies, all that good stuff, looking for positions. So we've got an incredible talent pool. So that generally is honestly our secret sauce. In terms of like men versus women, like what do I think might be my headway? I don't know if
I
this
ain't
is a
gonna
man
get
versus.
you in trouble. I told you I couldn't think of how to word it. I guess,
Yeah.
what would you say makes you stand out versus me going to the bro that's like, I can get you this talent for super cheap, or any other? Maybe that's the better question to ask. What is what are the signs of a good placement firm versus a bad one? That's a better question. That way you don't get in no trouble. The bros ain't hating on you. So let's just do it that way.
I mean, I can answer both. Like, I'm sure there's some bro ones out there that want to do it cheaper, and good for them if that's what they do. But we stand behind our hires. We have very successful long term hires, and we are incredibly invested. So we are a high level placement agency. Like, we work to have you successful. We want to see you and your new team successful. We want it to be a long term fit. Some of the people I've placed have been on teams for over 10 years now. Like, I'm looking for people who are going to be with you for years, not just quick, cheap, here's somebody for a month. Because I just was doing this, actually, I was doing a hiring miscalculator thing I was working on earlier today. And if you hire a marketing manager for $80,000 a year, and after 2 months, you find out they don't work out, depending on a couple other factors, modestly, it could cost you 198,000 in missed opportunities and the company culture costs, how much it's in terms of like if you lose some of your A player talent. Because if you're constantly churning and burning the wrong people, and especially in a leadership position, you're losing A players, you're losing team morale, you are potentially losing opportunities with clients. There's so much cost there on top of the actual cost you're paying them, on top of the onboarding, the hiring costs, how much time it takes to actually, it takes 40 to 60 hours just to hire somebody. So however much time your team takes for that, however much time they're spending on onboarding for you and them, it's expensive as heck to be hiring the wrong person. And so we go above and beyond to make sure they're not only a match to the position, but the culture. We make sure you know exactly what you're hiring for and why. So clarity before we even start hiring. They match your values, they match your the skills that you need, and that they're growth oriented, that they're leadership quality, that we look at their motivational traits, their personality, we look at everything. We want to know that they're going to be the person that matches you specifically and the growth and trajectory of your company. So yeah, that's that. I would say that's what kind of sets us apart a bit in that way. As a woman, in this industry, I'm just very hard headed, stubborn, and driven, as I think just about any entrepreneur is. So I will always keep trying and doing my best. A little bit of that perfectionist there. So that's where that, like, they have to be the right hire comes in. But yeah, that's my answer to that. What do you think?
I like it. I mean, I think all women have superpowers, so you would never hit. My whole entire team is like literally all women. It was by accident, but
I
I
love
have
that.
no qualms here. Okay, let's go rapid fire as we move towards the end of this. So, rapid fire. If you could get in a time machine knowing every single thing you know right to this second and can go back to 18 or 20-year-old Michelle, what do you go back and tell her?
Oh, start sooner. Start sooner. Stop worrying about all the little things and just put it out there. What is it? Imperfect actions. So taking action over making sure it's perfect.
Okay, what's one money lesson you had to learn the hard way that you wish somebody would have told you earlier?
Oh, yeah. That would have to be there's a lot of scarcity, I think, in our family as well, which is a hard one to overcome, as well as not wasting on nonsense, spending on things that matter, experience or, something that means something to you. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's say it's 12 months from now. What's one big win you love to be celebrating?
Ooh, 12 months from now, I am going to be buying a new home. Yeah, I think that's a good enough one for now. I'm going to buy a new home and I'm going to do it in cash.
Okay. I love it.
That's going to be it.
Okay. Looking back, what's a move you made that changed the game for you to grow?
Mm. Dialing in. So it took a little bit for me to accept this recruiting hiring role instead of what I was doing before. Because I really did love, the orchestration of team and building and creating, but I was spread too thin. I couldn't do it at the higher level that I can do this recruiting and team building and connecting people at. So for me, it was dialing into narrowing down exactly what I'm doing and being specific about it. And everybody says narrow it down, but that's not easy for your ego sometimes. So
I feel that whole need. Oh, but I'm a miss out on naughty. No, you're not. Okay. Last one. What is something you believed about business early on that you had to completely unlearn?
mm, that's hard.
Mm.
That it has to be hard and that it's always going to win. It's not always going to win. You're going to lose like 9 times out of 10. And that's that 10th time. You got to keep going.
I feel that. I feel that. Okay. Well, people, I told you she's good, and you see that she just the level of detail and how she's picking the person and the matchmaking and their reason for staying. These are the types of people you want. So again, tell them if they're like, man, I need her to help me because that's exactly what I need. I've been focusing on the lower level people. And by the way, we love CSMs, we love account managers, account reps. They are definitely needed. But she's talking about when it's time for you to scale and you finally made that switch of I need another thought leader, somebody to challenge me, give me a different perspective. This is who you go to. So if they want to get in touch with you, tell them again, name of the business and where they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. It's Michele Lambert of Bella Connections. I'm all over LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, all that good stuff. Oh, we also have a YouTube channel, The Aligned Operator. But the best and fastest way is just bellaconnections.com. And you can email us hire@bellaconnections.com and we will help you out.
All right. So again, y'all, I told y'all, these are the types of people, quality people that we want to bring to you. People that are excelling in their field and they know their stuff. They know what they're talking about. She's not telling you guesswork and theoretically this is the person you pick. No. For these types of companies, these are the characteristics. This is what you need to do to make yourself stand out. These are the people you should be looking for and why. So who better to bring on than the people who are doing it? So again, Michele, thank you so much for coming. Guys, make sure you like this episode, share it, make sure you're subscribed. Send this to a buddy, especially if y'all been talking and man, I need to figure out who to hire. Why not just go to the website and then she can just help you? And there you go. And guess what? It's a business expense, which means it will lower your taxes. So you don't have an excuse unless you're just not ready, which I'm sure she will tell you to. So with that being said, we are so appreciative of you guys tuning into another episode. Until the next one, take care of yourselves. Peace.
Thank you.